What did I just watch? I was so confused. It is a gangster film, it's violent, but it's wholesome also. With A.R. Rahman's music, it feels like, a coming of age story. But it also shows the dark side. Now the film is not perfect, but I definitely enjoyed the ride. Let's talk about it. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and today we're talking about the Tamil film Vendhu Thanindhathu Kaadu, Part 1. Direction and screenplay by Gautham Vasudev Menon and story by B.J. Menon. Now I heard a lot of things about this film when it came out in theaters. It became quite a talking point, and I heard people saying that this is not the traditional GVM film. It's a departure from his style of filmmaking. Now I have not seen his film, so I cannot comment on that. So I'll only talk about what I saw in this film. And even the actor Silambarasan, I have only seen him in Menon, which was very different from this film and this role. We'll talk more about that. Now the film has a typical gangster narrative that how an unprivileged, in need, lost gets swallowed by this crime world. But this time it felt refreshing because the way things play out in this film. As I said, it's also a coming of age story. It's also about finding yourself in the world, finding love. And our protagonist Muthu, from the beginning, it established that he's different. He departs on the hero's journey, in which most heroes are unwilling to take the journey. But here it's different. He is willingly entering into this unknown territory, the unknown world, which is Bombay. And here I don't know why I was getting Harry Potter vibes, because the way the film builds up the world. He enters into this Porota restaurant, we see what the life is like there, and slowly we get to know the rules of the house and how it's run. And from there our protagonist has to create his own path. When he sees it's going to the dark side, he tries to escape, but the more he does that, he's dragged back into it. And once you are inside, you are in the game. To survive, you have to play it. But what makes him stand out is how he's stable mentally. He doesn't fear death or pain, but humiliation. But as we all know, life is a series of humiliation from which you learn and move on. And if you try to fight back and stay rigid, at some point it will end up in violence. And that's what happens. So is it fate? Like the mother said, he'll end up as a killer? Or was it his choice? But we have one more character with Neeraj Madhav, who is in the similar trajectory as our protagonist. He's also getting sucked more and more in this crime world, but he never chooses to play it. And by the end of the film, we see what their choices led them to. Muthu went more and more deep into it and even lost his son, whereas Neeraj's character finally escaped it and have a better life. Now all of this is complemented beautifully by A.R. Rahman's music. The songs are so lovely to watch, the way they are shot, the whole love story is done so delicately, and the music also helps in humanizing these characters. These goons, these henchmen are also people. They also have their own feelings, but they are just stuck at the bottom of this food chain where their boss has a boss who has a boss who has a boss, and they are just pawns in this game. Now technically the film is really solid. The cinematography is really good. There are so many long take sequences, not just in action but also dialogue heavy, which is more difficult, and all of them are really impressive. But I definitely felt by the end of the film it became too repetitive, because in some sequences you want the camera to be still, be close to the characters, but it's constantly moving around the characters and distracting. Now the action of the film was a weak part, not the whole choreography but the fight sequences, because that impact when someone was hitting the other person was missing. Whenever the camera was close to the action, we could not really see what's really happening. It was fine, but whenever we got the long takes and the wide angles, it was very obvious that they are acting, they are not really hitting each other, and they overcompensated for that with the sound effects. It was just too much. Now the film is almost 3 hours long and it definitely drags a bit in the second half, but still you definitely feel invested in the film, and that is because of the performance. And let's talk about Silambarasan TR as Muthu. Watching Menon, I never felt that this actor has this much capability. In this film, he was Muthu, he was not the actor. And I loved how he brought these certain mannerisms to him, which was consistent throughout. Constantly loosening his shirt, constantly wiping his face with his collar. Even the way he walks is very different. And the director cannot tell you all of these things before every shot. You have to live as that character to perform it organically on screen. And all of these physical attributes add to his character. At the start of the film, he's very unsure of things happening around him, so he's more clueless. He's very innocent. But as he gets deep and deep into this crime world, you could notice a transition with his body language. He's more confident, and with his look, he fit the world very well. I really feel that his performance carried the film. Now overall, the cast did a good job. There were some moments which are uneven, but that goes for the whole film. Now the ending of the film hints at a sequel, and we even see some glimpses 5 years later. Now my hope is that the sequel will explore the 5 years, what really happened with him, how he reached that point. Now if you like this video, you can check out my review of Paranji's latest film here. Do hit that like button, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.